Hey folks, welcome to my new apartment. I didn't make any moving vlogs because the moving was literally me just carrying stuff everywhere. But I figured I'd give you a tour. We'll start at the door. So, you'll hear the air conditioner in the background. I'm sorry about that, but it's hot. I'm gonna leave it on. So this is my new place. This is a single bedroom, 750 square foot apartment. It was built in the 70s, 74, 75 roundabout. And I found the rent is pretty good on this one, so I decided to pick this one. Basically what I did, which I think is a good strategy for moving, at least for the first time, I saved up about $10,000, then used that as a budget for moving, and I spent over half that moving, so that was definitely a good move. I would highly suggest that if you can pull that off, do it. So this place worked out to be a pretty good deal for me. It's cheap enough that I can afford it, but it's not cheap enough to be a dump. And it's not like one of those yuppie apartments that has no square footage, no space, but really nice appliances and all that stuff. So this place, I think, is much more sort of a good balance in the middle. And that's why I'm probably going to hang on to it for as long as I can, at least until the cost is prohibitive. So we start the door here. I got myself an indoor doormat and an outdoor doormat. The outdoor doormat is one of those half moon things that you can buy at Walmart. I did end up getting a little tray for shoes and stuff. Like, these are my shoes that I use at work since I step in the mud a lot outside. I got a snow shovel here if I need to dig my car out. Oh yeah, this place has these. Yeah, that's an old charm right there. So we have the living room area, which I consider basically the couch over to the TV and all that. Oh yeah, there's my scraper. So I have the transfer PC next to this whole setup here, and it's actually plugged into my TV so that I can use it for conversion projects and whatnot. That is a Q9550 Intel Core 2 Duo based machine. Runs XP and it does all my conversions, and I use a Unicomp Endura Pro keyboard with it, which is a very nice keyboard to use with that machine. A little surge protector under there that is not big enough for all the stuff I'm going to use. I have a ton of consoles in here. Look at all this. There's the Atari, the N64, all that stuff. There's more in here. Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Xbox One, and there's more in here. PS2 up there, an 80s VCR, an Xbox 360, and a 2000s VCR. So there you go. And I have a Genesis and a Sega CD sitting over here with a bunch of my old laptops just on these shelves. These are like $20 shelves at Walmart. They're not very high quality, but they're good enough. So that's where I ended up putting all my old laptops. I need to figure out a way to organize those. That's the best way I can do it right now. I'll figure out a good way to do that at some point. There's a Dreamcast hiding back there. These are some stuff I need to make videos of. Steam controller and a Steam Link. I need to make videos of those at some point. They're pretty cool. I got this old fan for blowing at when you're sitting on the couch. And it's an old-fashioned style. You'd find it a place like Walmart or something. I don't exactly know why. I don't exactly know why it's not working. Oh, that's why. See, this switch controls this entire outlet. Now it works. I was wondering why that was. So that makes this little clock I put down here completely wrong. I must have hit that by accident coming in. Here is this piece of furniture, by the way. I got at IKEA. It was one of their fairly new pieces, and it's very, very nice. I really like these a lot. It's enough space to fit this turntable, which I haven't figured out what I'm doing with yet. I've got a bunch of cartridges and whatnot on top of it. As you can see, I still have the tape on it from moving it. I got a 32-inch 720p LG TV here. This thing looks fantastic. I got a Roku connected to it. I got a bunch of Rokus when I moved, and they're a godsend. I use Sling TV on my Roku to watch regular broadcast TV. and that's about $30 a month with the channels that I chose, and it works pretty well. Another thing I'd like to point out is behind the TV here there are hookups. I've got an HDMI switcher here. I just got one of these audio-video switchers that I've yet to hook up, so that whole setup needs a video of its own. But I've got some HDMI switchers back here. I got a Chromecast plugged in there. Right behind that Chromecast, you might see something very old-fashioned. That is an honest-to-goodness roof antenna hookup, which I don't know if this side of the building has it, but there is a roof antenna on top of this building. It might still work. I should try it one day and see if it works. Maybe that'll get its own video as well. Obviously, we have cable service, or cable wires coming into the place, so I could get cable TV if I wanted to. And I could also use that for internet, but I don't, since I just use the internet for pretty much everything I possibly can these days. So, there you go. That's definitely something I wanted to add. I ended up getting this couch, this coffee table, this end table here, and this end table there where the microwave is on, all in the same package. I think they're Ashley Furniture, if I remember right. And I mean, you can tell it's not the best. The cushions are kind of stuck to it, but it's a very comfortable couch, and that's why I chose it. And it also goes well color-wise with the whole apartment setup. Very comfortable couch. Been very happy with that. Coffee table here is nice. I got a little tray and a bunch of crap in here that looks horrible. I need to clean that up a little bit. But as you know, I'm not completely. I'm like 80% moved in, but I still have stuff that I need to figure out. Just because I started out in a bigger room than I have here with more storage, so it's going to take a while. As you can see, I have not left 2007 yet. But yeah, that's the living room here. I also got this 80s lithograph off of eBay. It arrived with the glass broken, funny enough. So, yeah, I had to fix that. So, $50 on new glass. But I really like this 80s lithograph a lot. It has a nice aesthetic to it, which is pretty cool. I also have this on the wall here, which is pretty neat. Local artist did this one. And of course, there's that picture of this loon that I've had forever, at least since the early 2000s or so. Maybe even since the 90s, I can't really remember. I think the early 2000s, though. I've put it in a really crappy frame, so I need to get a better frame for that at some point. So, that's a work binder. Got these lamps along with the living room furniture. So I put a lamp there and a lamp over there by the window. Over here is my stereo setup. I managed to keep my Bozak speakers, which is fantastic. These are some IKEA shelves that I use for my records and tapes and take up reels and whatnot. Got a 45 holder here. Got a bunch of stuff. I got a bunch of these cassette drawers up here for holding all of my cassettes. And above that I have some CD racks, which I clearly don't have enough of. I think I'm gonna have to think about how to deal with that. That's one thing you really got to think about in one-bedroom apartments is space. If you collect a lot of stuff and then move, oh boy, you're in for fun. But anyway, I brought the stereo cabinet with me, which has all my Technics stuff in it, apart from the equalizer, because I never really used that. Silver tape deck standing out, that's also Technics. Down to the CD player. There's my little Kobe HD radio. This thing's still hanging around. Switchers. Little shortwave radio under there that I haven't really used much. And my JVC linear tracking turntable. That's my listening table. It's a really cheap and cheerful table. I like it a lot. Of course, I have antennas here. One of those Radio Shack antennas. And a really cheapo AM and loop antenna that I use sometimes. And the other Bozak speaker. Of course, above the record player, I have some 1984 memorabilia. Media for burning CDs and DVDs and whatnot. And we come to the computer desk, which is kind of a mess right now. But I can give you a good overview. I use this part for doing paperwork and whatnot. And that works pretty well. I have a filing cabinet here, which is a cheapo Walmart one, which works pretty well. It's got a lock on the filing part of it, which is nice. I bought a new printer. I got a new Brother DCP-L2540DW. This is a very nice printer. It's a monochrome laser printer, and it never skips a beat. It has scanning, copying, and printing, and that's really all I ever use a printer for. I never use faxes at all. If I want to do faxes, I'll do eFax, because I'd have to set up a fax phone line to do faxes anyway. So yeah, I don't have an active analog telephone line in this place. The wiring is there, but I don't have it. So, you know, there you go. I do have this big lamp here that my aunt gave me as a moving present. She's great for that. And the desk setup here. You've seen some of this already in some previous videos, but I'll give you more of a specific overview. Here's the computer setup. I got my ViewSonic 1080p monitor here. Some old Dell speakers from the 2000s. Cheap Plantronics headset there that I use for gaming sometimes. Rosewell card reader, a Logitech F310 controller, a Velocifier VM01 keyboard with its cherry brown switches, a Staples wrist rest, and a Staples mouse pad with a wrist rest, and a Microsoft wheel optical USB. So there you go. And over here I have clocks and phones. This is one of my favorite clocks that I have. I decided to use it on my desk here. This is an old 70s Timex digital clock that uses LEDs. This might be late 70s, early 80s, I would guess. Maybe mid 70s to early 80s. I really don't know when this clock is from, but I got it new old stock at a thrift store, and it's really nice. I like it a lot. It's so old, it doesn't have a colon in it, which is unusual. It's got dual alarms and all that stuff, but I just use it to keep the time on my desk. And this is a phone I got at a thrift store, a Panasonic regular wall telephone. I have that plugged into a device that I'll show you in a little bit. Same with this wireless handset here, which is nice if I need to walk around the house and talk to somebody. This is usually good. I like having an analog wired telephone on my desk just in case that runs out of battery, so it's a good backup. I have a little Living Solutions USB fan here, which keeps me cool. And yeah, I bought a ton of these little shelves from Walmart. These things are awesome. Like, here's one that organizes all my flash media. I mean, you can fit so much stuff into these, and I use every bit of storage that I have. Oh yeah, the USB humping dog. Who could forget? Gotta make everything USB, right? And of course, under here you have there's my main computer here, to the left of the desk. Under here I have a UPS. As you can see, it measures line voltage, and the line voltage in this place seems to be a little high. 126 is the upper limit of the specification for power coming to a house in the United States. And I've seen this thing go to 130 before at night, so the voltage can get pretty high here. Luckily, most of my stuff here uses switch mode power supplies that are universal voltage, so really not a big deal for most things. I also have a 24-port TP-Link switch that I think I made a video of this, I can't remember. But it's a nice 24-port switch that can be rack mounted and everything, but I just have it on top of the UPS, which has a bunch of crap plugged into it back there. And I also have this Obihai Obitalk IP. I don't know what to call this thing. I guess it's an IP phone adapter. It basically adapts an ordinary RJ11 telephone to the internet for use with a PBX or Google Voice or something like that. I use it with Google Voice personally. What I did is I stuck a splitter on the end of it so that both of my phones up here have access to it. So both these phones work on the same line with it, and that saves me from having to pay for an active phone line in this place. Despite having the jacks on the wall, I don't think it's worth the money to have an active phone line when I could just use the internet for the same thing. I don't send faxes really that much either. So if I'm going to fax, I might as well just do eFax, because that's about $10 a month, I think. I forget what the calculations were last time I looked at it, but it's not a whole lot of money. So it saves me a lot of money using an IP phone, or an IP phone adapter for my house. So there you have it. Here are my two servers. One of them is on, one of them is off. This is the big one with the 6 2TB drives, and this is I think this only has 4 2TB drives in it, but that's the junk drawer server, and that's the main server. The reason this is off is because I still have yet to organize all my stuff on there. It's a complete mess. So I've been putting that off for a long time. Yeah, there you go. I also have this mat that my chair sits on, since the whole place here, as you can see, is carpet. It's mostly carpet, so I have a little mat that my chair sits on. I also hung a bulletin board there. And on the wall here, I found this on eBay too. It's a picture of a cat with a mouse with an old Apple mouse in its mouth. I thought that was funny. So, yet again, a Walmart frame that actually looks kind of decent. And of course, trash can, an Amazon Basic shredder. This is another IKEA chair. It's very mid-century modern, and I really like the look of it. And it's very comfortable to sit in too, I might add. I decided to put this next to this lamp here, so that if I want to sit down and text somebody, or sit down and read one of my books here, like this Watchmen book here, I like that one a lot. I could just sit down here and read it. So this is another IKEA shelf. It's the same shelf as these, except that it's a different color. These are called Kallax shelves. If you ever look for these at IKEA, these are the 8 in a grid. These are the same shelves, except that I've just put them sideways and got the little pull-out drawers for them, which are very handy to have. Organized a bunch of stuff in here. I got software in there, and I got cookbooks over there. Believe it or not, I do cook, because if I don't cook, I don't eat. On top, I have various things. For those of you punks out there, you're going to love this. Yeah. What else do I got? I got this clock at the thrift store, of course. It's a little clock there. I have a laptop here so that I can use my headset around the place. That's literally all that's there for. That's probably not the best system in the world. I'd like a better one than that, but it works. Here's a room fan. This is a Walmart Mainstays fan. Believe it or not, these are better built than any of the Laska ones I've ever owned. That's kind of hilarious to me. So, yeah, that's pretty funny. Turn around, and I have another lamp that's from Walmart. It has a 3-way LED bulb in it. There's my LOL sign. I bought a $100 Sharp Carousel microwave, which has done a pretty great job so far. So, that's good. I also got this splash mat here in case I spill something, which is nice. Got placemats and napkins down there. Random boxes. So, hey, that's most of this side of the room. It's a lot less space than I'm used to, but honestly, I don't mind that one bit. Here's the kitchen table. It's a nice wooden table. I also got this new at the place. I had to buy it separately, obviously. The tablecloth is just a random cheap vinyl tablecloth that I bought at Walmart. That way I keep the wood nice and fresh. That's where I sit pretty much every time I eat. These giant fruits. Funny story. Here in town, there's a lot of Hispanic people. And Cinco de Mayo is huge here, and Cinco de Mayo is a great opportunity to get great art for your house. I saw these being sold at a stand and loved them, so I decided to get them, and they look great on my table. Holidays and celebrations like that are a great opportunity to go grab art. While I was there, I also grabbed this Aztec thing, and that looks great on my wall next to the pictures of the elephant and the lion. So that's just a pointer there. If you have celebrations and events like that in your town, go, and you're looking for art, go there, because you might find something really cool like that. Really big apples. Table's a bit of a mess, so there's my Ionic Breeze air purifier there. This came with the place, obviously. It's a Comfort Air. Is it Comfort Air? I think so. It's an air conditioner. It has a cool and dry mode. I usually leave it on auto, and the dry mode essentially is a dehumidifier, and the cool mode is air conditioning. And it has a remote. Comfort Care. Is it Comfort Air or Comfort Air? It's Comfort Air. Okay. Don't know the brand of my own damn stuff. Oh, there's my Revox A77 that I need to fix. It unfortunately is in a state of disrepair at the moment. As you can see, this place has old-fashioned thermostats, which is pretty cool to see. There you go, look at that. Good old-fashioned manual thermostat. I should probably clean that out at some point. I like this place because it has old-fashioned everything, since it was built in the mid-70s at some point. I have a fan here in the hallway that blows air from this air conditioner into the bedroom here, which is kind of essential because it gets pretty hot in there. Tower fans work pretty well for this, and I have the smallest hallway in the world, so I mean, hey, that works. Now let's show you the kitchen. This is the most 70s part of the whole place. Look at that, linoleum floor, wood grain cabinets everywhere, and Formica counters, which are nice counters. They're in pretty good shape. The fridge is a Whirlpool from 2009, and it works fine, so this was obviously replaced at some point. There's my little kitchen timer. Stop it. There we go. It's a pretty annoying timer because it makes those noises, but hey. So, this is what the kitchen looks like. It's a pretty simple kitchen. Nothing too fancy about it. I did put a hook on the wall for the oven mitts and stuff. And a clock in here with a thermometer and a humidity detector and all that stuff. Humidity meter, I guess. The stove appears to be from the 80s sometime, I think. It's a Hotpoint stove. It's all manual knobs, just the way I like it. Regular burner coils instead of a flat top. There's a regular oven in there, and below there is a drawer that I put pots and pans and whatever in. Has a hood fan that does not exhaust outside, instead it just blows up here. But it works. It's got a nice stove light. Here's a bunch of my kitchen stuff that I bought. The Star Wars stuff somebody got me as a gift. I got a $30 set of knives at Sears. I don't think these are going to last very long because it looks like it's already scratched or even cracked there for whatever reason. But it came with a sharpener, which is why I bought them. Got some salt shakers. I got a Radio Shack egg timer. I just thought that was funny that existed, so I decided to buy it. Cheap Oster toaster. Plastic. May I repeat that? Plastic cutting boards. I love plastic cutting boards. You know why? I bought 2 sets of wood ones and they all warped on me. Don't buy wood cutting boards. Buy plastic ones. You can sterilize plastic, so it's not too big a deal. These cabinets are in pretty good shape. They all work fine. I put felt on all the doors so that they shut without a big bang. So little felt pads there. One thing that's funny, here's a bunch of my stuff. One thing that's funny is there's a date code on these cabinets. That would be August 12th, 1975. So these so I would gather that this room itself was probably built in the mid-70s. Maybe around 74, 75. I'm guessing it was finished in 75 because that's when the cabinets were, but hey, there you go. There's one thing about this place I do have to complain about, and that's the lack of light fixtures. As you can see, I have lamps everywhere. And that's because there's nothing on the ceiling. I'm sure I could get something installed if I really complained enough, but honestly, I have so many lamps at this point that it's fine. There is a chandelier here, though. Turn the lights off so you can actually see. It's so 70s in this place that there's wood grain on the chandelier. And if you take a look at the chandelier, you notice that I put a bunch of sunlight LEDs in it. That's one thing I'm very proud to have done to this place. I have converted the whole place over to LEDs. Every single light in this place is an LED. That lamp there is just an LED panel that has an LED bulb in it. LED, LED, LEDs, 2 LEDs up there, an LED as the stove light here. There's an LED up there if you can see it. And I even replaced the fridge bulb with a nice bright blue LED, so you can see everything in the fridge. Nice bright blue LED there. I also have LEDs and the lamps in my bedroom over there, so that saves a lot of electrical costs. Because I noticed when I lived at my parents' place, I would have the lights on all day, and we used big honkin' halogen lights that were basically indoor floodlights that used a ton of power. These are all, what are these? I think they're 40 watt equivalents in most of these. I forget what these are. These might be 40 watt equivalents as well. But I know they are for most of the regular bulbs that I've used. And that saves a lot of energy costs because I generally have a light on all the time when I'm working or sitting at home or something. So LEDs save a lot of money in the end, and they last over 10 years at least. So you're not going to be replacing them very often unless they're just really shoddy quality LEDs. The one thing you have to watch out for are things like this. Things like enclosed fixtures. These you have to get special LEDs so that they don't overheat and lose their lives faster. You can get LEDs that are made for enclosed fixtures. They just typically don't have the same lumen output as a regular LED would. So let me shut that off. Alright, so bathroom here. Hey guys, how you doing? So, it's a pretty simple bathroom. I also put LEDs in the bathroom fixture here. So, they redid the tub, which is nice. It's not the original 70s tub. I've seen the original, and it's this like snot greenish yellowish tile. it's really awful looking, but this is just regular white tile. This is kind of a bath fit bathroom here. Works quite well. All the plumbing is fine. Nice tub. It's nice to actually have a bathtub again and take baths when you want to relax one day. The toilet is fairly new as well. It's a Niagara toilet. It works well. No issues with it. It uses a flex line, which I don't know how reliable those flex lines are, but hey, maybe one of you in the comments knows. The vanity also, or at least not the vanity, but the sink itself, the whole structure looks fairly new. It doesn't have any handles on the doors, which kind of sucks. The sink works well, of course. You get a very small vanity, though, as you can see. Like, there's not a lot of room in here. But it's enough for somebody like me. If it were somebody that wears a lot of makeup or something, or does a lot of prep in the morning, this might be a little small to store all that stuff. I would guess that they'd end up storing a bunch of it down here, which is typically where I just have a bunch of cleaning supplies and extra stuff. So, you know, the vanity's kind of small. The mirror is good. So, I mean, there you go. Little clock in here, of course, with a thermometer on it. So, yeah, there you go. In case any of you are wondering about that denture cleanser, that's not because I've lost my teeth. That's because I wear a retainer. It's just for my retainer, guys. Don't worry about it. One thing I found different about this bathroom is they put the toilet paper in front of the toilet, which I thought was a bit weird, but you know, when you actually use the toilet in that arrangement a bunch, it's not that bad actually at all. It's a fine layout. So, fairly small bathroom. They put the exhaust fan on the side wall here, which I don't think is the most effective place for it. I think it would have done better if they put it directly in the middle of the ceiling up there. But this was a common thing they used to do. As you can hear, it works fine. And there you go. I'm about to run out of... Well, actually, I can show you this real quick. I have a little cabinet here, or a little pantry here. So I got a place for cereal and extra milk and garbage bags and endless tomato soup. This is the best tomato soup ever, by the way. My mop and my vacuum and my laundry stuff, extra bags, a stool, fire extinguishers in there, a bag of garlic and onions and stuff, and extra crap up there. So this place isn't without storage. I mean, for a one-bedroom apartment, this place has very, very good storage options, which get even better when I'll show you the bedroom. So, okay, so my hallway is about, I don't know, 2 feet. So I put a fan here to blow into the bedroom, and here's the bedroom. This is the rest of the square footage you get. It's kind of nice. Let me move this laptop out of the way here. And it's a bit of a mess in here because I've been reorganizing this bedroom and changing the layout a little bit, actually. So we'll start at the door again. Here we are. You have a computer desk over there, a bed. It's a full-size bed, rather than queen or king or twin or anything like that. Full size is pretty ideal for apartments, I think, because it gives you enough space to sleep. It gives you enough space if you have a significant other, but it also gives you enough room space and all that stuff too. So it's a pretty good size, I think. This is an Ashley Furniture bed. I ended up detaching the headboard from the bed, actually, because what would happen is, let's say you're sleeping at night and you move around a lot. Like, I would be laying in bed and I would just, like, turn over onto my front from my back or something, and this thing would just bang against the wall. So what we ended up doing is detaching it from the bed frame, which is just your cheap, like, metal frame, and just laying it against the back wall with foam pads on the back of the top of this here. So just a word to the wise, if your headboard starts to bang against the wall, just even with the smallest movement, I would suggest detaching it from the headboard, because it can get really annoying after a while when you're trying to sleep and you bang yourself awake, quite literally, with the headboard. So just a piece of advice there. This is my summer bedspread, nice and stripy. I kind of like that. I brought my little IKEA table I got from the thrift store years ago here, which has a bunch of random crap on it, including a Ting SIM card thingy. So yeah, I've got a bunch of plastic tubs down there I need to figure out what to do with, but this table is pretty good for just putting a few random things on, like a graphics card. So yeah, there you go. There's my diploma. There's a tree for hats and pajamas and whatever. Adventure hat, my Florida hat. And yeah, there you go. I have a little Lasco fan here that has a very nice low mode on it, that typically blows towards the bed so that I'm comfortable when I'm sleeping. I run really hot for some reason, so I tend to always have a fan on in the summer next to me, even sometimes in the winter. But hey, keeps you nice and warm, so, or keeps you nice and cool, I should say, actually. So it has a nice low mode, and that's why I use this one here. Here is the reason that this place was so worth it. This closet here gives you so much space. Look at all the space you have in here. You have so much, and right now it's a complete disaster because I'm reorganizing stuff and I haven't figured out a good system yet for everything. I just kind of shove stuff in here to get it off the floor for the moment, and I'll organize it later. I did do some organizing though. You see I have some computers stacked here in the corner. Packard Bell Gateway, a Mac that I need to make a video of, and sleeper build and all that stuff. I mean, you can get pretty good space in here, and you know, you get your laptop bags and whatnot, and space for towels and sheets and toolboxes and more boxes, and I even got these Target shelves from the thrift store that allow me to store a few more things in here. There's more underneath these boxes too. There's an ONT box in here, which is for Verizon Fios Internet, which is the internet service provider I use. I got 3 of these drawers from Walmart. They're kind of a big version of those tiny ones, and I store a lot of stuff in there. I have a lot of stuff to figure out in here. I just shoved it in here for the moment, and it's kind of a mess, but that's part of moving from a bigger place to a smaller place as far as your room goes. So yeah, this storage closet is very nice. It also has a nice jar light up there, which I also put an LED in. Put an LED in everything I could find. There's the breaker box there. It's a very simple one. I think the 40 is for the stove, and the 20s and 15s are for everything else, obviously. I don't know if the air conditioner uses a 208 volt outlet, I think. I don't know if that's on this breaker. It probably is, I would assume. Probably a 20 amp or a 15 amp one. But it uses a 208 volt outlet, and it doesn't use 120, which is a bit unusual. But this is what made this place so worth it for me, was all this closet space, which looks like a disaster. So, you know, over time I'll clean it up, and obviously I have some stuff I have to get rid of. So you can see how much of a disaster this becomes quickly when you're a collector. You really have to make some hard decisions sometimes, and because that happens, that's just what you have to deal with. So obviously I'm going to have to get rid of a few things just to make this closet more useful and make it myself able to walk in it. Alright, here's the other part of the room. I got my big CD rack here, which has a bunch of my old software and stuff on it. This is my dresser. Actually, it's not even a dresser. Well, I guess it is a dresser. It's a chest of drawers. I could have gotten a dresser with this set of furniture, but there's no room for it anywhere. So I just chose the chest of drawers, which are kind of cheap, but they work. I mean, it works. I decided to put a lamp, a few stuffed animals, and a TV up here. Oh yeah, and I have a really amusing bank for quarters. Have a Coke. I use the quarters for laundry, because we use quarters here for laundry still. I got a little Element TV here that I bought from Walmart. I brought my Apex TV, but unfortunately it fell on its own power brick and broke the screen. So I ran over to Walmart and bought the cheapest $100 TV I could find, and this is what I came back with. And I think UXW Bill has one of these too. It has VGA on it and everything, and I have a VCR under it as well. And I just typically use this Roku on it to watch YouTube and Sling TV and whatnot on it. There's also a Chromecast hooked up on this HDMI switch. So there's also a Chromecast on the other TV in the living room as well. I forgot to mention that. There's a bunch of HDMI switchers out there, but that whole setup is probably going to get its own video at some point. This is just a bit of an overview. I have another bank here for things that are not quarters. Just a little bunny thing there. I have a nightstand that I bought separately from this nightstand, which obviously goes with the chest of drawers. This one I got separately at another furniture store, and it ends up being a good place to put laptops, because it has this nice door on the front of it, and there's a drawer up here for more stuff if I happen to need it too. I have a white noise generator here, which works quite well. This thing is intoxicating. It makes me sleep forever. And the phone's ringing. Yeah, about that. I've been having an issue with CVS lately where they will not stop calling me over and over again every day. Anyway, I'll deal with that later. Anyway, stuff on top of this nightstand. I brought my lamps from my parents' house over here. These have been my lamps for the last almost 20 years now, at least since the early 2000s. And they're great lamps. I put LEDs in these, as I do, as well as an LED in this one. So, there you have it. Just random I got a bunch of floppy holders and stuff on here. I need to figure out what to do with those. I got a fan here that blows just blows onto my back over there, so that if it's too hot, it doesn't feel quite as hot. So I can sit at my vintage computer setup or Linux machine over here and be just fine. This setup is going to change. Temporarily, I have a keyboard here, compact keyboard here. I'm going to get a 10 keyless and make more space so that I can fit another keyboard over there for vintage stuff. I got my ThinkPad X260 there as a bedside machine. I got the Newcomb speakers surrounding all this stuff. All my vintage machines are there. There's my CRT. The one CRT I still have, because it's from 2006. It's very new. And there's a Dell monitor that I bought from Road Geek. Yeah, and there you go. That's pretty much the whole... Oh yeah, there's a clothes closet, so I can fit all my clothes in here. That has good amount of space on the sides as well. Laundry basket and whatnot. So, as you can see, I'm doing pretty well. I think I'm doing pretty well. I should sneak this segment in here about my nightstand. You know, I got my router. I got a little otter face on it. I got, you know, where anybody would put their keys, wallet, and sunglasses and stuff like that. I also have remotes here for my TV and the Roku and all that stuff. But the main purpose of this segment in particular, is the fact that I still use an honest-to-goodness alarm clock. You know why? Purpose-built devices are great, because they always work. I don't trust cell phones to wake me up. I just don't. This thing does wake me up, and it also has the dual alarms, and pretty good AM radio, pretty good FM radio, all that stuff. And the display I can keep nice and dim, so it doesn't keep me awake at night. It seems to work pretty well, and it has a backup battery in it and all that stuff. So, yeah, I still use an alarm clock, and I think they're a good thing to have. One thing I did to this place is I got curtains, I got blinds as well, kind of like a fake wood blind type of thing. I got them specifically for the reason you're seeing now. What time is it? It is about 5 o'clock in the summertime here in Pennsylvania, and unfortunately I'm on the top floor on the western exposure, so this place becomes an oven very quickly. That's why the air conditioner keeps running constantly, and that's also why I bought blinds. Blinds block out a lot of this light, so I like that. It's kind of necessary in a place like this to either have thick curtains or blinds. I would opt for blinds though, because they're just easier to deal with, I think. Easier to clean as well. So blinds are one thing I did to this place. Now, I did mention the thermostat earlier. What kind of climate control does this place have? Well, I've shown you the air conditioner. This uses hydronic heat. It uses baseboard heaters that take heat from the hot water supply. And that is my favorite way to heat a place, because electric radiators suck. They just suck. They eat power. They run a lot hotter. But with hydronic heat like this, I can have wires next to it and not care, because the hot water doesn't really get that hot. It's not going to melt the wires or anything or cause a problem. Hydronic heat is the way to go. Definitely like hydronic heat. Oh yeah, I got another mat for a chair in here as well. These are from Amazon Basics as well. Now, what about network setup for this place? I ended up with Verizon Fios for internet. This is a router I bought from them, mainly because it has wireless AC, and the equipment I had did not. And this also runs on firmware that's based on Linux from scratch. So it's not crappy firmware by any means. It's very, very good. So, very happy with that choice. Obviously this is just a regular router. It's not even proprietary. You can use coax for it, which is what Verizon used to do, but now it just uses Ethernet cables for everything. Oh no, I knocked the otter over. Don't want to ruin the otter. Anyway, that plugs into the ONT box here in the closet, and the ONT box connects directly to the fiber lines you might be able to see back there. So this is fiber directly into the apartment, which is very nice. I run wires this way over into my NetTis 5-port switch, which, you know, is for this machine, and I have cable here if I need to work on a machine next to here. And I also have Powerline Ethernet in this place. So I have it going from this outlet out into the room over here, right over here, and then this Powerline Ethernet thing plugs into my 24-port switch, which handles the servers, my main computer, and my Google Voice PBX. So that's a pretty nice setup, I think. It just works. It's not as fast as it otherwise could be because of the power line aspect of it, but it does work very well, and I'm very happy with that. So that's pretty cool. That's how the network setup of this place works. Now, what do I think about the appliances here? I like having old-fashioned appliances. I like these because they're dead simple. Not a lot goes wrong with these other than wiring and coils. That's it. Not much else really goes wrong. And simple dials, things like that, just works. No muss, no fuss. And these appliances, I believe, were replaced in the 80s. They look like they're from the 80s. I've seen some of the 70s dishwashers they've removed, and they've had a really nice, like, metal handle. This dishwasher is probably from the 80s, around the same era as the stove there. And it's your simple dishwasher. No big deal there. It just does its thing. It has heated dry on and off, which means we can do computer projects with it. Yeah! Now, what did I get for stuff around the kitchen? Obviously, I have this toaster. I didn't opt to get a toaster oven because the toaster ovens take up more space, and I have a real oven. Why do I need a toaster oven when there's a real oven in my place that works? So, I do have a few other things, though. I've got a hand mixer, I've got a chopper, and I've got the cutest little 4-cup coffee maker. Little Mr. Coffee thing. I don't use it very much because I don't really drink coffee, but I have friends that love coffee, so there you have it. One thing I should mention about the sink that I thought was kind of funny is they did the plumbing backwards. So you look at the logo on the sink, which is quite dirty because I need to clean the sink. You'll see that it has hot on the left and cold on the right. Well, it was wired backwards, so you move it that way for cold and that way for hot. So every time I have people over, I have to warn them about that so they don't burn their hands. So I guess there was a dyslexic plumber here or something. I don't know. When I moved in, the door handle on my bedroom was also in backwards. The lock was on the outside of the door, like outside, facing towards the hallway in the kitchen here. So I had to get them to correct that because that just made it look like the previous tenant locked their kids in the bedroom or something. I don't know. Thought that was kind of funny. The other thing I should mention is I do have phone lines here. I have analog telephone service in this place. Well, the wires are hooked up, but it's not like, I don't actually use it because I use that Google Voice device that I showed you guys earlier, but it has an old Dell logo on it, as you can see, which is kind of cool. Looks like it converts somehow, I guess. I don't know. Not an expert on telephone wiring, but it does have it. There's one here, and there's one in the living room area near the TV as well. So, there you go. Another piece of advice that I have is get different trash cans for trash and recycling, assuming that you do recycle. I recommend that you do recycle. It's a good idea. So what I decided to do is get a nice heavy-duty kitchen trash can from Walmart for a typical kitchen trash can, and get a flippy one for recycling. And I like the flippy thingy. Yay, flippy thingy. Yeah, I've always wanted one of those because I'm weird. So that's some advice that I have. Use different trash cans so that it's easy to tell them apart. And maybe stick a recycling sticker on one of them. But I just use the lids as an indication for me, and that is enough of a contrast that I go, oh yeah, without even thinking about it. So, there is that. Paper towel holder there. Fruit basket there. A drying thing here. Yeah, there you go. Another thing I like about this place is it's very easy to keep clean. If you have a vacuum, you're set. Just vacuum your carpet every week or two, and it keeps it clean. And you can just mop the linoleum floor, wipe down the counters with a paper towel, mop down this 1x1 tile in the bathroom, and wipe down the shower bath with a sponge. No big deal. Same with the sink there. Very easy place to clean. It takes me about an hour and a half to clean this place. So, pretty nice time frame. Cleaning doesn't take very long in a place like this. That's a huge benefit. This place also has some smoke detectors. There's one in my room. There's one on the opposite side that's far enough away from the kitchen that it doesn't set it off if I screw up cooking, which I don't often do anyway, so that's cool. Carbon monoxide detector. This thing is so loud. Like, it ruins your eardrums. I did get a little mirror here. My visitors have liked this mirror. That's for sure. What else can I say about this place? I've been very happy with it. The thing I like about these 70s places is that they were built in a time when square footage was actually valued. Something that was a thing that was paid attention to back in the day. Rather than I believe in getting an apartment. Let me start over. I believe in getting your money's worth out of stuff. And this apartment definitely is it. It's not state of the art. I didn't actually want state of the art, believe it or not. I like older stuff because there's less IoT, there's less digital, there's less crap involved, especially with appliances. I like old appliances that work forever. There's no IoT device in sight in this place. As far as the household goes, there's no Nest thermostat or anything like that. Some people call that luxury when they have things like that. I call it superfluous technology. So this is a good old-fashioned place. It does what I ask and doesn't do anything else. And that's what I like about it. The rent isn't too much, and I get a lot of square footage and a lot of storage. I know a lot of people in my generation, the millennials, like very minimalistic places. And this place really, to me, is minimalistic. There's not a whole lot going on here, but it has space. And that's what I like. You know, I'm either at my desk here most of the time, or at my desk in here most of the time. I don't need any place that's huge or need, you know, gobs and gobs of space. I just need enough to, you know, live with myself. And it seems to do pretty well as far as that's concerned. So, obviously I still have some moving in to do. I just brought this stuff back from my parents' house today. But just to let you guys know, I'm doing pretty well. My life has gotten to a point where it's fairly comfortable to do my thing and live. Hopefully it stays that way. You can't expect it to, but hopefully it does. That would be very nice if it did. So, I'm loving this place. The only complaint I really have is the western exposure and the lack of light fixtures in the house. But with all these lamps, I don't really need it, so that's pretty cool. That's been an apartment tour for 2017 here. This is where I moved to, and this is where I'll be making videos. Lots of videos on the kitchen table. Now that I have a kitchen table, I can do kitchen table electronics repair. Woohoo! A lot of the videos that you'll see will probably be here in the bedroom because it's away from the air conditioner. I made a few videos on this bed just because it's convenient and it's nice and quiet in here, so it's a perfect way to do it. So this is where you'll be seeing new videos. The chili stream was on a laptop on top of this fridge. So, and there you go. That has been a tour of my apartment. Not a whole lot to see, but just to show you the kind of the way that I live a little bit. You know, there you go. Obviously, I have too much stuff. I need to get rid of some stuff. But that's going to be a slow process just because I have to live my life and go to work and all that stuff. So, you know, there you go. I think I'm doing pretty well. I think I am. We'll see what you guys think. This is just I just like to throw this segment at the end. It's a quick look at the 10 keyless keyboard on this setup rather than that one. I think it fits the setup a little bit better, and there'll be a video on this keyboard and this wrist pad in the future, so just thought I'd show you what this setup looks like with that real quick. Anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and have a good one, everybody. Ciao.